This is the Ohio Farm Bureau podcast. I'm Ty Higgins. Don't have to go very far to see the science in agriculture. It's being taught in classrooms all across Ohio thanks to the Grow Next Gen program sponsored by the Ohio Soybean Council. Find out more about Grow Next Gen. And speaking of ag in the classroom, we're going to talk with a recent winner of the Golden Owl Award, Ohio's highest honor for ag educators. And we'll talk about the Golden Owl Award with Nationwide and Ohio Farm Bureau coming up after this as the Ohio Farm Bureau podcast continues.
Hi, I'm Brian Baldridge, Director of the Ohio Department of Agriculture and 7th generation farmer. We know farmers care about conservation. Join the thousands of H2 Ohio participants who are already implementing best management practices on their farms and receiving incentives. Program enrollment is open now. To join H2 Ohio, soil tests must be up to date and you must meet program requirements. Contact your local SWCD or visit h2.ohio.gov for more information.
No matter what generation farmer you are, the next one is always the most important. The Ohio Soybean Council is focused on the future of your operation. It's not just a checkoff contribution. It's an investment you can count on for your farm, your bottom line, and your future. Ohio Soybean Council. Invested in your future.
This is the Ohio Farm Bureau podcast. I'm Ty Higgins. Growing Ohio's next generation of leaders, scientists, and entrepreneurs. That's the purpose of Grow Next Gen, a program sponsored by the Ohio Soybean Council that provides free STEM resources for Ohio teachers to engage and educate their students through science of agriculture. Joining us is Tom Fontana, Director of Research and Education with the Ohio Soybean Council. Tom, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks a lot, Ty. Really appreciate the opportunity to talk to you today.
I have been in these classrooms where the teachers are given fantastic resources and kids are excited to learn about agriculture. They may not understand what they're learning as far as what we do in the farming community. It is science-based, but what a great way to introduce them to the way the food system works, especially at the front end where you and I spend a lot of our time. And we're all familiar, Tom, with ag education classes at school districts all across rural Ohio. But how is Grow Next Gen different?
Well, that's a good question, Ty. It's different in that we try to reach a wide variety of teachers and students, rural, suburban, urban classrooms, and we really want to make those connections. So the reason our board decided about 12 or 13 years ago to really amp up our education program, and that's when Grow Next Gen was created, there were really two reasons. One was they want to, as you mentioned, they want to make the connections between science and agriculture in classrooms in Ohio. And only about, I think, 4% of students actually take an agri-science class in middle or high school. So we figured the best way to get in touch with those students was through their teachers. So we work heavily with biology, chemistry, environmental science teachers and try to show how agriculture really fits in to the science they're teaching in their classroom. And the other thing was our board really wanted to try to work hard to get the best and brightest to consider careers in our industry. That's very difficult to do sometimes. So you ask them and they learn a lot in the classroom, but then what do you want to do? And they say, oh, I want to be a doctor or a lawyer or something. So that's the other focus that our board wanted to work on. So, over the 12 or 13 years, we've made a lot of progress and have a lot of things going on.
It's one thing to get the kids' buy-in of this curriculum. But I think the reason, and correct me if I'm wrong, this program, Grow Next Gen, has seen so much success is the buy-in of the teachers. That peer-to-peer sharing of this, when a teacher sees the success and sees just how much kids are learning about the science of agriculture, that news spreads pretty quickly.
Yes, it does. It really does. And you're absolutely right. The teacher to teacher contact is very important. They hear about the various things that Grow Next Gen has to offer. We have a group of teacher leaders in the Grow Next Gen program. They get involved with workshops and developing curriculum and all kinds of things. So we get the teachers very engaged. And if they're engaged, then their students will hopefully make the connections and learn through agriculture. One of my favorite stories is a teacher in Dublin, Ohio, very suburban near Columbus. Got very involved early on with Grow Next Gen, and before you know it, he was growing soybeans outside the high school. So, those stories are really nice to hear.
Um, let's talk about the curriculum because I have to imagine as the kids are learning about the science of agriculture, maybe some of these more suburban or urban teachers are learning as well, right? As they develop this curriculum, who comes up with the topic matter, the curriculum, and how involved are the teachers in developing that curriculum?
Well, that's a great question. Most of the topics that are addressed in the curriculum tie are things you probably would guess would be covered. We talk to our farmers. We work with a group called Education Projects to actually execute our program. They are former teachers. So the subject matter is makes a lot of sense. It's things like biotechnology, GMOs, bioproducts, biofuels, water quality, other environmental issues, management practices on the farm, precision agriculture. So those are when there's a hot topic in agriculture or an important topic in agriculture, we try to get folks to develop curriculum that works on those subjects. As far as the development, all the curriculum is really developed by teachers themselves. So when we get to know teachers and they get very involved with Grow Next Gen, we work with them and they develop curriculum. And they get paid to do so, but they're very, very engaged in the Grow Next Gen program and with their students and develop curriculum in a wide variety of subjects.
You hinted at this a little bit earlier, but I want to really put an emphasis on how these young people may have something triggered by taking these classes to keep them involved in agriculture well beyond their high school years. That workforce development aspect and you mentioned all the things that have nothing to do with being in a corner soybean field. That's so important to the future of agriculture, and getting these young people involved is even more so.
Well, you hit the nail on the head. There are so many career opportunities in our industry, and most students don't know about it. They think of, a farmer out in the field. But from the farm gate to the end customer or consumer, there are a lot of opportunities involved. On our website, Grow Next Gen website, we have career videos of all kinds of folks from farmers themselves to consultants to farmers on best management practices, uh, processing of agricultural products, transportation, marketing domestically and internationally, precision agriculture, drones, and those kinds of things. So, trying to show the wide variety to students what's available out there in our industry. And hopefully, through our teacher workshops, not only do we provide them curriculum to use in the classroom, but activities to go along with that curriculum. And hopefully the teachers understand the career opportunities that are there and pass those along to their students as well. So, the earliest program we have is for third and fourth graders. It's called Chick Quest. Why would you have third and fourth graders hatch chicks in their classroom. Well, it's fun. They learn about life cycles, and chickens happen to be the number one customer of soybean meal in the world. So that's the connection. And then middle school and high school, we just have lots of opportunities for teachers to integrate curriculum and activities in their classroom.
Have to imagine we have some parents of young people listening right now that might want to see this happening in their schools, and maybe even some teachers that haven't heard about this that want to learn more. How can they do so, Tom?
Well, the best way to get a hold of us is through our website, grownextgen.org. There's all kinds of information there. And they can go on there and make contact with our group that executes this program. They can see what kind of teacher workshops are available, what they can look at the career videos. There's curriculum, there are e-learning courses that anybody can take, and there's just lots of information there, but they can get a hold of us, and we'd be more than happy to make contact with them and get them involved with the program.
Grow Next Gen, getting the science of agriculture in classrooms all across the Buckeye State. Tom Fontana, Director of Research and Education with the Ohio Soybean Council. Appreciate your time, sir.
Thanks, Ty. Pleasure being with you.
At Ag Credit, we've been proudly providing support and financing for agriculture in rural Ohio for generations. As a local farmer-owned cooperative, we value our members and work to supply the best service possible while offering competitive products and solutions. Solutions that support the next generation getting started, ones that help operations grow, and others to aid with transitions. To apply online or find the location nearest you, visit us at agcredit.net. Ag Credit, committed to agriculture, committed to you.
This is the Ohio Farm Bureau podcast. I'm Ty Higgins. Agriculture educators across the country devote countless hours, often their own resources, to positively impact the lives of their students. Nationwide, along with Ohio Farm Bureau and Ohio FFA, honors the state's Ag Educator of the Year with the coveted Golden Owl Award, and along with it, $5,000 in funding to help bring new opportunities to their programs. Joining us on the podcast this week, Devin Furman, Chief Agriculture and Sponsor Relations Officer at Nationwide. Devin, welcome back to the podcast.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Jeffrey Stimmel also joining us from the Delaware Area Career Center, also known as DACC. He is the winner of the Golden Owl Award from 2023. Mr. Stimmel, great to meet you. Welcome to the podcast.
Great to see you. Thank you.
A lot of ground to cover. I want to talk about this award in general here in just a bit with Mr. Furman, but Mr. Stimmel, we'll start with you. Tell us about your ag program there at DACC, in particular, where it was when you took over and where it is now.
Yeah, so I started in the fall of 2014, and at the time there were about a little more than 40 students that were enrolled in the program here. So over time, we kind of did a little bit of a pivot and basically asked students what they were interested in, what they wanted to do. And one of the big things that we caught at that time was there was a big demand for involvement in the area of food science. So kind of made that a main focus of our program. And then through the years, enrollment grew to the point where when I won the Golden Owl Award in 2023, there were like 230 students that had requested to be into my class the next year. So we added another position. So Chrissy Phoebus, who's now she's now here with me. She was my student teacher back in the day too, which is kind of a cool full circle moment for us. But we now have, between our high school and middle school, we have about 230 students this year that are enrolled. And so my program is fully housed at Big Walnut High School. So I work for the Delaware Area Career Center, but all of our students are Big Walnut students.
Part of this conversation is going to be about getting young people engaged in agriculture when they realize that there's more to it than just what happens right there on the farm. And it sounds like that's really kind of the mindset that attributed to the growth you saw right there.
Yeah, so it's interesting. We always try to be really intentional how we frame it, because I feel like sometimes the conversation turns to there's more than just farming, as if there's something wrong with that. I mean, it's the backbone of everything that we do. So we'd like to have the conversation that there are those opportunities and other things versus instead of not having that or downgrading part of it, kind of encompassing the whole industry into one program.
Mr. Furman, every single year there is stiff competition for this award. You get dozens and dozens of nominations from people all over the state, 4 teachers all over Ohio. It goes to show just how many great teachers there are within the Ohio FFA program. Why is it important for Nationwide to recognize the work of these ag educators?
I always have to start off with, in 1926, the Ohio Farm Bureau founded Nationwide on a premise of being a specialized insurance carrier to help serve farmers' needs. And so we were founded by farmers. Agriculture is a part of our heritage. It continues to be one of those things that guides us from a branding standpoint to a value standpoint to even strategic decision making. As we looked at the landscape of what was going to be needed and really equipping this industry with the best leaders, we recognize that ag educators are at the center of that conversation. And for us to get the next generation in a position where they have the skills, knowledge, and the ability to really drive that innovation to the next level and support the farmers and really the food industry across the globe, it's going to take a concerted effort on the part of industry, on the part of partners like the Ohio Farm Bureau, to really drive that home. And we just saw the Golden Owl as a perfect way to raise the awareness of the contributions that ag educators make every single day in their classroom and outside the classroom, and provide not only some financial support, but true recognition of what they are all doing to really ready the next generation of leaders to take agriculture to the next level.
The 10 nominees for the 2025 Golden Owl Award have been announced, each of them given a plaque and $1,500 to help them advance their ag education efforts in their part of Ohio. And of course, the 2025 Golden Owl Award winner will be named a little bit later on this year. Devin Furman, Chief Agriculture Sponsor Relations Officer at Nationwide, and Jeffrey Stimmel from the Delaware Area Career Center, the 2023 Golden Owl Award winner. You can find out more about the award at nationwide.com/golden-owl-award. For the Ohio Farm Bureau podcast, I'm Ty Higgins. We'll see you down the road. Find previous podcasts at ohiofarmbureau.org and search podcast.